everyone, I'm Alexis the Egoqueen, and welcome to episode 39 of Adeptus Podcastus, the 40K podcast where I'm not the crazy one.
Half the time.
Joining me, I see how it is. We're already gonna just start shooting. Joining me, as always, is Remlays from 40K Theories.
Hello, everyone.
And Tactica Imperialis. Somebody yelled at me last time for saying that.
Yes, someone did yell at you last time. Yes, hello everyone.
It's the whole virtua thing with Sega all over again.
Oh, it is. It is.
I mean, it's no big deal. Like, I don't care if you put an L in there; it just rolls off the tongue easier. It was kind of funny that someone actually called it out.
Well, yeah, they're like, I wonder if Michael gets mad every time Alexis says that, and I'm just sitting here like, do I actually say that a lot? So I went back and rewatched a few of the episodes, and I'm like, I have never said it correct.
Oh dear.
In all fairness, I don't know how to pronounce those crazy town names.
It's the Imperia's tactical Imperium. Oh, I'm at it now. It's the Imperia's primary.
It's spreading.
The book's like the rule book of war one. It's like the art of war for the Imperium, isn't it? Like, how anti-Tau can it get?
If it was
I don't know.
Orky.
Fine.
It was Orky. Yeah. Tactic Imperial.
Welcome to Orky Know What's 101.
You gotta learn the difference between your spiky bits, your choppy bits, and your shooty bits.
Oh, and also don't expect this edition to last any more than 5 minutes because there's a knob over there who's a little bit bigger than me, so he's probably going to change the book.
Whoa, phrasing.
Whoa, yeah. Whoops. Oops. We're off to a good start, ladies and gentlemen, and Xenos of all ages, aren't we?
That actually reminds me, one of the homebrews that one of my good friends and a fan of my channel is working on. He has a knob by the name of Licks. Licks the knob.
Well, this was a family show, it's not anymore. So shall we move on with the news, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes, let's
do that.
And let's start with a piece of news that someone shouted at us for not covering, even though the way our schedule works means we couldn't have covered it. The Mechanicus video game.
Beat boot.
You know, I completely missed it.
Yeah, I mean, I barely know. It's kind of slipped under my radar as well. I don't notice so much with the video games. But yes, the Mechanicus are getting themselves a video game.
Makes a nice change for them to focus on a new faction for once. Considering everything else is just Space Marines, Guard, Space Marines, Guard.
And,
very true.
You know, this actually reminds me of the scene from Space Marine where they're loading the Basilisk and they're like, an entire Forge World and not a tech priest to be seen.
Except in this case, you've got an entire Arc Mechanicus at your disposal. The Caestus Metallicon.
Good name.
I do like that name. It's apparently going to have alternate endings. You'll be able to use the noosphere to scan for stuff, because, of course, Ben Counter's writing the story, and he's got a decent rep behind him.
Nice. I do got to look into this, because this is something that is going to be on my channel soon. I got to do Vermintide 2. I've been meaning to play that with Wargamer Girl. I've just been busy.
Well, Mechanicus is not going to be out until the end of the year, give or take. So, and it's PC only, just for the record.
And my machine probably still won't be able to run it.
Look, Ramlays, you literally have the Imperial technology.
The Imperial technology?
Yeah, it's garbage. Me, when my stuff stops
as opposed
working,
to the technology of the Imperium.
Yeah, there's a difference. Alright, you use the Mechanicus shit. Me, when my technology stops working, I just shove a demon in it. Sure, it spews blood everywhere, but it starts working.
Gets around the problem of running out of battery, at least.
Yeah.
That's an in-joke nobody's going to guess.
Wow. What the hell is this episode?
Going off the rails very quickly.
In other news, the Space Wolf Terminators got released for Warhammer 40K or Horus Heresy, whatever you call it.
Yep, we got the Varigir Terminators alongside the, what are they called?
Grey
Slayers upgrade kit.
Which have their nice leather masks. So you can have Luchador Space Wolves.
Luchador Space Wolves.
Yeah. They're from the Mexican part of Fenris.
I think that's slightly racist, but the first thing I thought of was give me your belt.
Look, Lucha Libre originated in Mexico. There's nothing racist about that.
Alright, fine, you got me there.
And while we're speaking of Space Wolves and things involving Prospero, while it's not 30k, I believe that at this point, if it's not out yet, it will be out very soon, Ashes of Prospero will be upon us.
It is out now, yes.
I thought it was, and that's one of Gav Thorpe's work, setting us into the new age with the Space Wolves and the Thousand Suns. Should be fun.
Oh, also, didn't they mention Belisarius Cawl in one of the newer Horus Heresy books?
Yes, he's going to be in the upcoming Wolfsbane, which was available early to a few lucky some at Warhammer World.
Yeah, so for all of those people who just say Belisarius Cawl came out of nowhere, maybe you should have waited for the lore.
Well, to be fair, it's been nearly a year since Cawl. Actually, it's been a year since Cawl was dropped on us. They came out. Fall Acadia was January last year, yes. I think. So to be fair, he has been a bit out of nowhere for an entire year. So I don't blame people for saying that. Just sometimes it can take a bit of time for the lore to catch up. That
yeah,
said,
but
they were just waiting for where they could actually stick him into the novels, though.
But jumping off the rails and saying all of this stuff is made up in a fictional universe, of course it's made up.
I'm not going to have a go at people for saying that it was a bit, I don't know, because to be fair, it kind of was.
Against my lore, Michael. This is established lore that we need.
Do you know what else was established lore? That demonettes have smooth skin, soft breasts, and bulging loins. That's established
lore. And now the family rating has gone completely out of the window.
It was already gone out the window, you know this. And to anyone wondering, that was a direct quote from the book Chaos Child. More Ian Watson madness. From the chapter Orgy. Subtle, Ian. Subtle.
You know, I try to make it so that Slaanesh isn't all about sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and then that happens.
In fairness, this book came out in 1995.
That's why I think it's because I've seen what GW does, and it's slowly been rotating Slaanesh to be like, here it is, sex, drugs, rock and roll. Then in the early 2000s, they didn't retcon them. They never retconned Slaanesh except for Age of Sigmar, but we don't talk about that because that game is garbage. Looking at you, Michael. Anyway.
Yeah, even you want to buy in on the Daughters of Cain, so shut up.
I want to buy them for a Lair army. That's different. But. Now I forgot where I was going with that. Thanks, Michael.
Hey, you called me out.
Speaking of fantasy, and I managed to finally get all 4 volumes of the Liber Chaotica recently. And I tell you what, it's extremely jarring to read about a Sigmarite... It's extremely jarring to read about a Sigmarite wizard talk about the Black Crusades and the Demon Primarchs. It's very, very weird.
Oh, and speaking of Chaos God retcons, this might just be an Age of Sigmar thing, but has Khorne been retconned to lose all sense of honor by this point?
I thought they did that a while ago, just making him about mindless slaughter.
Yeah, sorry, it's just I keep getting these talking about had they done it to 40k, because I know they'd done it with AOS. I find that a bit of a sad shift for Khorne because
I kind of do as well. I like the secondary aspects of the gods. Like Nurgle is stagnation and death, but he's also blissful happiness
and resilience.
Yeah, and you actually see that in individuals like Horticulus Slimux, who is going to 40k, so I'm allowed to talk about him.
And then you got Tzeentch, who's the master planner and everything like that. But he'll set out this unstoppable goal in front of you and then give you a hint on how to beat it. He's just like, I want you to beat this. I want to see if you can do this. He likes deception. He likes manipulation. And I think that's really cool. Then you got Khorne, who is supposed to be mindless bloodshed and honor. And I really like that aspect because it showed the Arbites could fall to him, that people who are fighting for the Imperium actually help out Khorne.
Yeah, the way I sort of like to think of Khorne is sort of it's not about blood so much as it's about war. So he's all it is about murder in combat because that is the only way to kill somebody correctly. But it's also about having the honor to stand and fight. Like you look at Skulltaker. Like Skulltaker will challenge anyone and say, "You will fight me. I'll kill you if you run, but I'll give you a chance to fight me."
I just find it ironic he said, like, Khorne's not all about blood. The blood god's not all about blood.
Yeah, Michael, I gotta say you're wrong.
Yeah, all right. Okay, fine.
Khorne cares not from where the blood flows, only that it does.
True. I tried to go a bit too broad with it and lost the initial focus. Fair point.
And then you got Slaanesh, who is about like ecstasy and excess, but also pride.
Which is insane.
I really like that.
It's all sorts of it's every extreme taken. It's every emotion taken to the extreme, both good, bad, and ugly.
So what about Nuffle?
But it's all about having the pride in yourself to do a certain thing. Like when you paint something beautiful and you're honored by, you're just so amazed by your own work. That's something that Slaanesh offers you.
Yeah, chaos is at its current, as the way it's portrayed at the moment, chaos is inherently evil. Like,
well, it has always been evil. It's malevolent demons that live in the warp.
Yes, and the overriding emotions of the gods have always been malevolent. But there's something to be said for having that side of balance of the good, that there is something good to see in it. It's just it's a bit too polarized. Like the Imperium, take the Imperium. The Imperium is supposed to be the good guys. You know what I mean, though? Like, they're supposed to be humanity, they're fighting for humanity, they are supposed to be, like, the good guys, and yet we all know they are horrendously tyrannical, brutal, absolutely the worst. But you're supposed to... And the same with the Eldari. Like, the Eldari are supposed to be seen as fighting for the salvation of the galaxy and their race, but at the same time, they are absolute assholes.
Fighting evil by moonlight.
And chaos is the same. Well, chaos is the opposite. Chaos is... Sorry. Chaos is the big bad that wants to just topple the galaxy into chaos, into actual chaos, without a capital C. But at the same time, it has good sides to it, and I want chaos to have that, because otherwise it sort of stops all the factions having a bit of appeal to everybody. If that makes sense.
And the funny thing is, Chaos isn't even the most evil faction. It's the Drukhari who are the most evil. Because let's be honest, because let's be honest, at least, Chaos worshippers do what they do in the act of spreading their religion. Drukhari just do it for themselves. So it's like, fuck it, let's torture these people and drink their souls.
That's partly to stay alive, but yeah.
It's still a selfish and more inherently evil action than trying to spread the worship of your gods. At least that's an excuse towards it. So,
yeah, and the Necrons the same. They're doing it because, in some cases, they view the rest of the living species as cattle to be harvested. They're insignificant.
The Necrons are weird because there is no overarching plan. Like, some just want to be left. Some want to be left alone. Some want to wipe out all forms of life, and some just want to get what's theirs back into their own hands.
To be honest, I view some of the Necrons as good guys. Like Trazeen, for instance. He's not a bad guy. It's like,
he's not a good guy.
Yeah, you came to attack me. Oh, well, thank you. I took your entire platoon. That was amazing. Good trade. Yeah, if you guys ever need anything, I'm here for you. And then Gathering Storm happened, and he's just like, hey, I'm here. Don't worry.
He broke my collection.
He's more evil
Here's
than
Grand Booty Great Facts.
I'd say he's more evil than Amrakir. At least Amrakir will just kill you. Trazeen will be like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to keep you in completely conscious and immobile for millennia to come as part of my collection. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, I mean, Amrakir's intentions, nobody quite knows whether what he's doing is noble or conquering. Like, the two worlds sort of vary on that. But
in all fairness, Trazeen gave back Grand Booty Grey Facts.
Only because the threat of chaos was so great that he had no choice.
And
he also gave back... Yeah, his collection got screwed, but he gave back, like, the the Terminators, the Tartaros and Cataphractii Terminators from 30K to the Imperium again. He brought in a whole bunch of old technology that the Imperium lost. I thought that was amazing.
And then he stole Creed, one of the greatest strategists in Imperial history. And
Probably.
Well,
in all fairness, he would have died.
And now he's confined to a living death.
Yeah,
which is even worse.
What's better? Yeah, what's better? Death instantly or eternal, basically purgatory in stasis? What's better?
And it's not even true stasis because he's fully conscious.
I'd still say living is better.
Well, are you really living if you're unable to do anything and you're just conscious? You can't move. You can't even move your eyes. All you can do is just take in what's happening around you, which is nothing. So you slowly go mad over the quiet for millions of years.
I don't know, Gremlins. That kind of sounds like the backstory of my demon.
Oh.
So yes, it is worse then.
Yeah. And speaking of factions whose intentions sort of get misinterpreted from time to time, that brings us quite nicely into a little segue into the next codex, the Tau.
The Weebs.
The fish.
See what I mean?
You can play your Gundams. Yay, communism.
See exactly what I mean?
I'm sorry, I just have to get the memes out of the way.
Yes, I'm actually kind of out of the loop because I've been stuck in reset hell for the past couple of weeks, so I'll pass the news mic over to Ram. Take it.
Yes, they've seemed to have slightly changed the expansions somewhat, as in like the spheres of expansion. Because from what we initially gathered, was it that the 5th sphere or the 4th sphere that got lost in the Cicatrix Maledictum?
4.
4.
4 got lost, 5th is where we are today.
But that seems to have been changed to the fact that the Tau have now developed a piece of technology that allows them to pierce the fabric of reality. So it seems like they've managed...
Startide Nexus?
Yeah, something like that. But it seems to have been a slight retcon from just being sucked into Gork's Grin to they made a device and got lost because of it.
Yeah.
Well, for those of you that don't know what Gork's Grin is, it's the Terran reality that's going across the entirety of the the entirety of the galaxy
it's the
right now.
Maledictum.
Yeah, which I already mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, but people don't read.
Yeah, Cicatrix Maledictum, Great Rift, Gork's Grin, everyone and their mother has the name for it.
The big purple thing across the galaxy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there is one that calls it the big something something. But
the spook nasty thing, got it.
The fuck.
Yes. Yeah, the 4th sphere got lost in unknown circumstance. I've had a very good look at that poster, and it seems like in typical Tau fashion, they developed something, it went wrong, the Imperials have suppressed it completely. That's pretty much all we got from that little poster.
We do nothing wrong, praise Alva, blah 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 blah.
He's dead.
In many ways, the Tau are making the very same mistakes that the humans made back in the day when they were expanding. They're expanding their borders too quickly. They can't establish planets too well. They don't have the resources to actually keep worlds under their command for long periods of time.
Well, they do because, the first.
Well, no, look at the Imperium, how it tried to spread across the entire galaxy. It has a million worlds, and that is in the lore. 1 million worlds.
But how many of those worlds pre-Cicatrix Maledictum, where everything went to hell, were causing a problem?
Quite a lot.
As a realistic percentage, it can't be any more than 10, maybe 20%. The vast majority of Imperial worlds behave.
My whole thing about this is the Tau are expanding themselves too far too quickly. They're going to run into the same problem, and that's what the Damocles Gulf showed them.
And then we get the Farsight Heresy, where fully half of the Tau Septs join with Farsight to overthrow the Tau Empire.
I so hope they don't do that.
Well, come on, let's be honest. The Tau are expanding their empire at the expense of an older race who once controlled the galaxy. You see where I'm going with this? The Imperium
Yes,
are now in the
however-
same position of the Eldar, who are now in the position of the old ones.
In that scenario, though, if you take Farsight is your Horus. In that logic,
Yep.
Farsight was elevated to be the big guy and sent off to go do his thing. But rather than what happened with Horus, where he got too big, got corrupted, turned round and came straight back, Farsight got abandoned, got exposed, realized that he was too dangerous to the Tau to keep around, and went into exile and only came back because the Tyranids were going to eat him.
Yeah.
You're right, and I really hope they do call the Farsight Enclaves actual renegades, even though I sort of dispute that. They're not. They are renegades from the Tau Empire, but they're not renegades because that implies bad guys, and they're not.
Whoa. Anti-heroes are awesome.
Yes, but sorry, renegade implies bad guys. I didn't say are bad guys.
I mean, they're Tau. They can't be bad guys. They could be bad fish.
Well, in fairness, that's why you call them renegades and don't call them heretics.
To be honest, I'm not even sure the Tau have a word for that, because they don't have religious doctrine. Heresy is such a religious word.
And yet heresy was being used
Traitors.
during the time of the Great Crusade when religion was all abolished.
Yeah, but that's the Emperor being a hypocrite.
Well, yeah.
Guys, we're not religious. By the way, you're my angels. What?
Yeah, that. Yeah.
And cherubs are cool, so we're gonna keep cherubs. Oh, also, everything's gonna be built like a church. Dad?
Yeah, but in
What
fact,
are
that's
you
because Gothic
doing?
architecture looks awesome.
It is because Gothic architecture looks awesome. Oh, and I got a son that's a religious fanatic, but I'm not going to tell him to stop. I'm just going to kind of destroy everything that he's done, which isn't going to bite me in the ass at all. Don't worry about it.
But all he said was, like, you're being too slow, stop this shit, and hurry the fuck up.
Hey, Horus, you're going to be in charge of my Great Crusade. Don't worry about what I'm doing. Just, if dark and evil voices start talking to you, probably don't listen.
Oh.
And
You know that comic that Wib drew, like, years ago, you know, I
Yeah.
trust you, Horus, and this is why I trust you, because I trust you to lead us in my stead. But I can't tell you why. Why? I don't trust you. Have you seen his original ending of that?
Yeah, he
Well,
shared it on Twitter the
It's
other
like,
day.
Gilliman wouldn't ask questions.
oh,
Snap. But going back to the whole like Tau heresy, quote unquote, I think the better candidate to do that, if they really want to do it,
Oh,
I think they should do it with whatever you want to call it. I think the person that should do it is Shadowsun. Let me explain. So Shadowsun, I'm assuming, though I can't prove it because we haven't got the Codex yet, is leading the fifth sphere. Almost certainly. She was in charge of the third. She'll be in charge of the fifth unless she got lost in the fourth. Or she's become Commander Purita, which I found also unlikely. Now, let's say for a minute she runs across Farsight. Farsight shows her tells her, as she explains everything he learned on Arthur's Moloch and of what is out there. I mean, they can't really hide from it anymore. It's literally turned the galaxy to shit in the form of the Great Rift. So Shadowsun becomes your Horus, and Farsight, though I hate to say this because I love Farsight, becomes your Erebus. I hate saying that. I hate saying that so much. But you get where I'm going with that. The most likely person to turn on the Empire is not Farsight, because he's been in and had a chance to attack the Empire when it was reeling in on the ropes after Agralan 2, and he didn't. He just withdrew. He had his chance and he didn't take it. Shadowsun, on the other hand, who has been proved to be hyper-violent when provoked, see the destruction of Farsight's statue on Vjorda after Aun Vat told her, I think she could do it, but I don't want them to do it because I think it would be a dumb storyline just repeating themselves.
Farsight likes his violent women.
all I can think
Is
about.
that what you took away from that?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Farsight likes a bit of femdom.
For God's sake.
Yeah, she
Right,
gets,
Alexis,
she
you
gets,
were
she gets the energy whip in a suit of armor.
Alexis, you were saying.
How am I the Slaneshi one? Like,
I have no idea anymore.
I am just sitting here, dedicated to Slanesh.
I'm just
and then
spreading
you
the
got-
anarchy
you
of
got
malice.
Reblaze.
I'm just spreading the anarchy of malice.
Yeah, he's got his hands all over you.
Oh, yes. And it feels so good.
Anyway, I'm just imagining Farsight runs into Shadowsun, and they go to have their epic dialogue, and it ends with them like guns pointed at each other, neck to like fusion blaster to his chest piece where the pilot is, and his like sword right to her throat, like just, you know, that locking and about to murder each other stance.
While the Evangelion theme plays.
Then they slightly talk, and all he says is, "Free the Kroot."
You were going somewhere so good with that, and you had to ruin it.
Hashtag free the Kroot. All I'm saying is, Farsight cares for the Kroot.
Well, he told Ovesa to stop making cyborg Kroot, because it might piss off the Shapers.
And there's a Kroot world in the Enclaves.
No, just saying. He cares for the Kroot. Kroot rebels are coming.
But actually, that'd be interesting, because going back to the actual Codex, we're getting 6 sets of set tactics, for want of a better word. There's going to be 5, the main ones. I'm guessing that'll be Ta'au, Borkan, Viola, Sasea, and Delith, although I can't be sure. And then the Enclaves themselves. And I'll be interested to see what Farsight Enclaves' tactics are, and whether they feed into Unity, because they all had bonding knives in the past, but now everybody has that. Whether it's through melee, whether it's through do something with the auxiliaries. I'll be very interested to see how they actually make that play out, because I reckon there will be one faction that actually plays off auxiliaries.
Hey guys, here's your Tau Codex. It has 60 pages, and we took out the Kroot. Why did you take out the Kroot? Oh, why did we take out the Sisters of Silence from the Custodians? Shut up, we want to sell books. Tell me that's not something GW would do.
You are still salty about that even after all this time.
I am still salty about that.
It's more saltier than the Dead Sea.
I am as salty as the common Magic player.
I thought that was just neckbeards and BO. In other news...
Yes, we have another video game announcement. Betrayal at Calth VR.
I think that's already been out.
Well, it was on early access for a while.
Right. Soren the Bear actually played it.
So did I.
Yeah, but you're not a bear.
No, I'm not. I'm a dinosaur.
I think it's still in early access. I'm not sure.
Oh, whoa. He could be called a Boo Bear. What can you be called?
Yes, but he can also be called a bear trap.
Yeah, that's still cooler than dinosaur.
Nothing's cooler than a dinosaur.
I'm pretty sure dragons are cooler than dinosaurs.
No, dragons are wannabe dinosaurs.
Alright, we got a game. It's cool. You should check it out. Remlays and Zoran have played it. Yeah.
And in other news, Games Workshop, in conjunction with Hatchet Publishing, have released a new series called Warhammer 40,000 Conquest, which is a magazine series where you get models and paints and brushes and stuff every issue. It's currently UK only at the moment, but...
I can't wait to get my 40k loot boxes.
But the first issue, you get like 3 Primarchs Intercessors, 3 paints, and a paintbrush for £1.99.
I can't wait for that to come over here.
Yeah, the second issue, I think you get that for £4.99, and that's got 3 Plague Marines, and again you get some dice in there, as well as a little bit more paint.
Yeah, issue 3 is some Reavers and a little bit more paint, and issue 4 is 6 Poxwalkers with some more paint.
And from that point onwards...
Wait. Are they actually out already?
Issue 1 is out.
Hey, Remlays, you should get it for me, and then I'll pay you shipping.
And you get free stuff as well, like you get like a binder story issues, a mug, an A2 poster, this painting handle thing, and an art book.
Peas?
No.
Oh, you're just rude!
Damn right.
Oh.
But yes, this is actually, honestly, probably one of the best. If you are if you're planning to start the hobby, or you are a Space Marine or Death Guard player, this is probably, if you don't mind, we don't know what the future issues are going to look like, but this is probably the best value deal we've ever seen.
And it does. The issues also give you like how to do like the basic rules and how to play the game and stuff as well as a painting guides and some lore stuff as well.
Yeah, it's
Come on,
looks...
No.
Oh, you're just rude.
Yeah, but normally each issue would be about $7.99, which for a bunch of models and some paint and a magazine, I'd say that's good value.
I mean, White Dwarf's a $5, so...
Yeah.
I love White Dwarf.
Yeah, like, if you are new to the hobby or wanting to get into it, or just into 40k if you're maybe coming from another system, honestly, this is something to consider if you don't mind playing those exact armies. And we don't know what the future issue is also going to contain. Like, it could be that there's a bit for every army, or it goes with the new releases of codices. It could be it just stays with those two factions. We honestly don't know at this point.
Yeah, at the moment it looks like it's all the easy to build stuff, from what it looks like. So I would assume that means at some point down the line you'll get maybe the aggressors. They might do what some magazines do and have like split up, like say the easy to build dreadnought over the course of a couple of issues.
Same with the not mythic Blight Hauler, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Malefic. I like the Blight Hauler.
And
yes.
Is there anything else in the news?
Not particularly for 40k. Obviously, this week's been sort of dominated by the Daughters of Cain release.
Oh yeah, we haven't really talked about that. They're sexy and I want them.
Yeah, the internet kind of lost its mind at Morathi.
Yeah, because everyone thought Fulgrim conversion basis.
Yes.
Well, everyone who's not an Age of Sigmar player with a brain thought that. But yes, that Morathi model is absolutely stunning, and the Valkyrie-like Kinnerai will be awesome. The snake-like Melisai will be awesome. Honestly, I've not seen so much hype for a faction ever in AOS. I've really not.
That's because they've never had hype.
Bit mean.
I'm saying nothing.
It's not like it's not true. I'm sorry, that was rude.
Yep.
Yeah, I said it was rude.
What? It's AOS is kind of boring.
And it's still better than the 7th edition 40k.
Minus formation.
Cue the arguing in the comments section.
Oh, the comments are going. This is still a thing that I get why people do rag on AOS, but for God's sake, leave it out. I mean, 8th edition AOS is so similar these days. Knock it off.
How long has AOS been out now for?
About 3 years going on. Certainly 2. I mean, I remember covering its initial announcement on my channel, and I'm in my 4th year of YouTube now, so it's been around for less time than me, though it's been around for more time than this podcast. I don't remember exactly what the date was.
So I think it's safe to say that the grace period for whining about AOS is over now.
Yes.
It's been out long enough. Deal with it.
I just don't like the lore. Like, that's the biggest thing, is the lore has
if you
no
don't like the
interest
lore,
to me.
fine. It's just people shit on it for no good reason. Although that leads quite nicely, if I don't mind interjecting and changing the order of the show, because I kind of have a rant that ties into this really nicely.
Feel free.
I was maybe making a mistake in browsing the forums the other day, and I came across a thread regarding
4chan.
No, it wasn't. But I came across a thread regarding Gilliman. And this original poster was sort of ragging on Gilliman and like the way he fits in and and the salt in that thread toward Gilliman and the whole new plot. Seriously, it was like it had just happened. I felt like I'd gone back 9 months to when he just come out. It's like, seriously? Yeah, okay. The implement.
You can't change the stuff. We wanted everything to be good, not this.
The problem is
This
that
is not proper stuff.
so many people were complaining that the story was never going anywhere, so Games Workshop just said, okay, we're going to move the story forward, and people say, don't move the story forward, I'm scared.
Yeah, Games Workshop were boxed into an absolute corner by that. Said, move the plot. Okay. No, not like that.
But the thing is, though, I still defend bringing Guilliman specifically back out of all the Primarchs, because, yes, Lionel Johnson is confirmed to be alive, but to everyone else in the Imperium, you know, where are the Primarchs? The only one they know where they are is Guilliman, because he's in a shrine.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
and apart from... No one knows where Lion is, apart from the Watchers in the Dark. But everyone in the
to
Imperium
us,
knows
the
where
omniscient
Guilliman is.
audience. Yeah, for us, the omniscient audience who are like looking over the universe because we see it all. Sure, Lion might make more sense to us because we know he's alive and so on and so forth. But Guilliman's the Temple of Hera, Athena, I think it's Hera, where he was entombed, quote unquote, was a bloody shrine, a pilgrimage place. Like, Guilliman was still revered. He was just kind of nearly dead.
I mean, the only other Primarch who had a shrine was Sanguinius, and he long dead.
Yeah, and leave him dead, for fuck's sake.
I hate to say this, but I can almost guarantee we're going to see more Primarchs in the future. In fact, I can almost see it in the immediate future.
Well, the thing is, from that Ashes of Prospero novel, they tease that Jagatai Khan is still alive because of the white giant in a chariot of lightning. So that's teasing Khan's still alive.
Yeah, and we know Johnson's still alive.
Yeah, because they also
obviously.
mentioned that as well. But,
Like,
I mean, because some people have also been saying that, it also says that Corax is still alive. It's like, from what I read in that passage from what Jarl Stormcaller saw, because he said, like, the Sleeper and the Rock, and then the White Giant on the Chariot of Lightning, and the Herald of the Emperor shall gather his sons as darkness that strikes from within. And some people were saying the darkness that strikes from within is reference to Corax, even though I don't believe it is, because otherwise why would you mention that after pointing out the Primarch specifically?
Yeah, and it's the Herald of the Emperor being Guilliman. Was it drive out the darkness? Was that?
A darkness that strikes from within. That could be the Alpha Legion, that could be Cypher, that can be anything.
That could just be Chaos, period.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I get it. I'm not against...
Throws us all for a loop. It's actually the Genestealer Patriarch. Avatar of Cain.
But going back to what you said about I don't want to see about having Primarchs back in the future, whether you do or don't want it. I'm not against seeing maybe 2 more. I think we discussed it on the previous episode of the podcast. I'm not against seeing maybe 2 more, 3 more loyalists back, but
don't bring them all back. That'll just spoil things.
Yeah, like having 1 or 2, maybe 3, who can sort of like Guilliman runs the Imperium. Maybe Johnson is its War Master, and Khan is like, and then Khan goes to reconquer as a Crusader in Imperium Secundus. Not Imperium Nihilus. I don't know, something like that. But you can't overload it on the loyalist side, especially.
If you're gonna bring back just 1 more Primarch, it has to be Lionel Johnson because we know he's alive. It's confirmed.
Don't you mean loyalist?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, well, I didn't hear loyalist. My bad.
Yeah,
I personally see in the next 3 years the release of the following Primarchs: Lionel Johnson, Fulgrim, Yagatai Khan, and Angron.
Yeah, I'll put a question mark on Khan, and I'll raise you a Perturabo or a Lorgar, but
they're not popular.
By that logic, though, shouldn't Khan be left out of it too?
Yeah.
White Scars last edition were one of the best-selling armies.
Because they were broken.
Yep.
There's a difference between broken and popular.
Oh, I mean, if everybody's using them...
I mean, if you're going by, from what I've seen, like a lot of Space Marine players are running Raven Guard, so by that logic, they'll bring back Corax.
Which is not going to happen.
Let's see why not.
Because he shouldn't come back. Because he was boring. Not as boring as Khan.
I like Corax. He looks cool. He was cool, damn it. I love emo music.
Get out.
Right.
He went the way of the Raven.
He became a writing desk.
Anyway, are we up to the question?
Did no one get that? No? Okay.
I'm just moving on from that.
Sorry, way off my head.
Oy.
Right, yes, I believe we're ready for the questions then, unless anyone has other news or miscellaneous things they wish to share before we dive in.
Oh yeah. Stop saying that Dantiok was the only loyalist Iron Warrior to make it to Imperium Secundus. I can name at least 7. Moving on.
Yes. Now, I'm going to open with a question that is the most popular comment on the last video by a mile, even though it's kind of memey. Here we go. If Lucius wakes up as a guardsman 6 systems away from where he died, does it turn into a weird 40k version of The Hangover?
That's awesome. I like it.
Speaking of Lucius, did anyone else find it funny that he managed to possess a Necron?
I'm not even surprised. At this point, Lucius is just the second biggest plot hole behind Ivrain.
Hey, cowpals!
No, I don't think it's a plot hole. More or less like a character that people... He's like Abaddon. He's a character that people should like and they don't.
Wait, you're supposed to like Lucius? He's a dick!
Yeah, he's a... I was going to use a 4-letter word, but still.
Yeah, Lucius is... There's no good reason to like Lucius. Going back through everything I know about him, from even his early days, he was just an arrogant arsehole who basically lost his shit after Gabriel Loken actually hit him. That's it. That was Lucius' entire reason. And then he got so jealous of, what was it, Tarvitz? I think Tarvitz, that he sold out the entirety of the Loyalists on Istvan 3.
Yep.
So, even more of a shitlord. But he was so not incompetent, because I kind of Sharakin was a badass, but he was, despite being the self-proclaimed greatest swordsman of the Legiones to start this, he wasn't. He couldn't beat Nikono Sharakin, died, got resurrected, then decided, you know what, I'm going to challenge one of the best champions in the Emperor's Children, died, but then decided, you know what, fuck you get to live, and he's now just become a plot hole. Like, Lucius is not likable.
Yeah, I mean, I read his novel, and I still didn't like him. I was rooting for the other characters throughout it.
I didn't mind his character.
I mean, it was still weird just reading the beginning of that novel, and he's literally just a severed head and a pile of meaty bits, and then he takes a sword which is being sucked off by a mutant. It's like, what the fuck am I reading?
Yeah, I know, it's amazing.
I mean, that book is literally like the literary version of an acid trip.
I know, it's great.
But at least we know it takes place after the third Fabius Bile book.
That is true.
Because I asked both... Yeah, because there's going to be a third Fabius Bile book where he goes to Camorra.
Oh, right, that will be the Covenant of 13 Scarf then.
Yeah, and in the Lucius book, Fabius is already in Camorra, so...
Okay, that makes sense. Right, this is someone answers this question here, but I want to ask it just to get some clarification. If a craft worlder, for whatever reason, doesn't have a soul stone, do they feel the thirst like the Drakari do? And vice versa, if a Drakari were to have a soul stone bound to the comment reply sort of goes on that they're bound to them at birth. If a Drakari had a soul stone, would they stop needing to do what they do to stay alive?
Well, considering that Drukari have managed to defect to become aspect warriors of the craft worlds, I would assume they would get given a soul stone.
Yeah, the person who replies to the comment goes on to say that soul stones are tethered using psychic rituals. They can't just be like unequipped. Craft worlders do it after birth, so they don't really ever go without. And it's apparently really dangerous to do a soulstone binding in adulthood, apparently. I can't justify that. That's just what...
They must do it, because otherwise those Drukari who do go to the craft worlds to become aspect warriors, how do they get them? They have to be given one, and not only that, but when Eldari go to battle, there's bound to be at least 1 or 2 occasions where they get shot, they survive, but their soulstone is fucked. So they need a replacement.
Can I just point out that soul stones are made out of Eldar feces?
Yes, I already made a video on that.
Yeah. They just call them soul stones because that sounds better than Eldar feces.
Or
That's
bricks.
actual lore, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
the Eldar are the only race that can come close to literally shitting bricks.
But okay, then let's say a soul stone gets broken. Then would a craft welder with a broken soul stone have the thirst of the soul being drained away by Slanesh that a Drakari would?
I think they would feel the pull of Slanesh on their souls, but they wouldn't necessarily know how to counteract it. I think they were because, like, compared to Drukhari, other Eldari are not so psychically stunted. They will still have some measure of being able to keep their soul bound to their body, as it were.
Perhaps. Yeah,
Makes sense.
Yeah, that might work. So, yeah, interesting. Okay. Question. We got a look at what a long-term, sustainable, mortal Slaneshi society would look like thanks to the layer. I'm doing this purely for Alexis fan service. Could the other Chaos Gods do something similar? And if so, what would it look like? A long-term, sustainable, mortal society. No demons involved.
Mortal society, look towards the human warband of Imperial Guard that are dedicated to Khorne.
The Blood Pact.
Yeah, they actually have recruitment worlds. And in the warp themselves, Kion talks about other worlds that are dedicated to certain gods and how he avoids them. So they do exist.
But what about in the material realm, I think is more to the point. So, there's no chance of a demon necessarily being there.
In the mortal realm, I would have to assume that at some point there is. We do know that one planet that Horus actually started to attack was a Nurgle planet.
That was a moon, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Davin's moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when they killed Temba, I think his name was.
Yes.
Didn't
Temba.
everything Nurgle just vanish?
I'd have to go back and
because wasn't he the
False
one
Gods.
who was anchoring it all? And then when he died, everything died. All the plague bearers and all the swamps and that just disappeared.
Yeah, again, I'd have to go back over it, but
I mean, I could be wrong. I'll admit that because it's been a while since I read it, but that's from what I
same.
recall,
That's the
anyway.
problem.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see that because you wouldn't think, particularly a Khornate society, could function, particularly with the way Khorne is now portrayed.
I mean, you got the Orks. Let's not forget that this is still canon that Khorne favors the Orks. That technically comes from like 3rd edition Orc Codex, but it's still canon, damn it.
True.
And yet when we see demonically possessed orcs, it's always Nurgle.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Yeah, actually, I've just thought of something. What about the Zangors as well? Because they're beastmen, kinda, and they serve Tzeentch, so I don't know if they can create their own society or they just spring up on...
They do have their own society, but that's on the planet of sorcerers, so weird warp shenanigans could be involved, potentially.
Yeah.
Which is hard to quantify in real-world terms, or material universe terms, rather.
Well, we also have to factor how far into the warp that planet is, because if it's right on the Eye of Terra, that's just barely in the actual immaterial.
Saltiarius is where Prospero is now.
Well, now it is, yeah. But I mean, they had the Zangors before.
Yeah, way back when, I think all the Primarch worlds were deep in the Eye, I think.
Yeah.
I think.
And either way, it's really cool. It's a really cool idea to think of. And it'd be really cool for a homebrew for a Space Marine chapter to recruit from them without realizing, and then the chapter get corrupted because of it.
That would be some pretty shitty recruitment process, but yeah.
Funny thing is, technically, the Angels Sanguine do that. They recruit from a world which was once home to a planet-wide Khornate cult.
See, there you go.
Because intelligence.
Officially, all the Chaos Worshippers were purged, but you never know, one or two could slip through the net. Especially especially in a chapter where blood is a major thing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there is that one short audiobook where the Flesh Terror is talking to the Corn Berserker, and he just flat out says, "You're a truer servant than I."
Well, the Flesh Terror says it to the Berserker.
No, the Berserker says to the Flesh Terror, he's like, "I'm only driven to blood by the nails. You're driven to it by instinct." It's a really cool,
and
a really
point.
good story.
It's a valid point.
Next question.
Yeah.
Okay, so the commenter here believes it's from Vulcan Lives, but does Eldrad tell John Grammaticus that Vulcan needs to be on Terra to hold the gate, or else all is lost, hence why he sends Grammaticus against the Cabal's wishes to save Vulcan?
Well,
I haven't read Vulcan Lives, so...
Well, considering an old... that was the entire point of the book, is Vulcan's trip to Terra. And
yeah,
the Emperor managed to possess Vulcan at some point to create a magical key. Stick with me on this. And when they managed to get into the Imperial throne room, the Emperor takes the key from Vulcan, plugs it into the Golden Throne, and it basically creates a psychic shockwave that pretty much kills the majority of the demons on the other side of the webway.
Who the fuck was piloting the Golden Throne at that moment?
The Emperor was. He basically extended his hand.
So he had a keyhole on the armrest then?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I was thinking it was like somewhere in the back. It was like you'd have to get off the throne to put that in.
Nope, don't think about it.
Yeah, probably best I just don't think about it.
But yeah, I'm just finding it funny that it's like, hey, Vulcan's on Terra. Oh, he's gone again. Is he dead? Probably. Is he back? Yes, probably.
Oh, hey, look, it's Celestine.
And literally, he goes up to Rogel Dawn and is like, "Let me embrace you, brother." And Rogel Dawn's like, "No." So TTS is canon.
Yeah.
I think that was more of an Easter egg more than anything else.
It really was.
But they do hug. And it's like, who else is here? It's like, oh, the Khan's here somewhere. He wandered off. I think he got lost. He's got to go fast.
Oh my god. Do you feel bad?
No.
Of course he doesn't.
Ah.
Okay. So, if you have a Psyker that could control a machine by using their mind and or by touching it, would they be considered a saint by the Adeptus Mechanicus because they can naturally commune with the machines of the Omnissiah? Because, I mean, the Emperor was kind of seen as the Omnissiah for doing pretty much that.
The Emperor was seen as the Omnissiah for fixing a knight.
And considering he fit the description of the prophecy of the coming of the Omnissiah.
Yeah, but would a Psyker who could do something pseudo-similar be revered in a similar way?
It would depend on how they can interact with machines psychically, because some can fix and some can destroy. Because in the Silver Skulls novel, there's a Psyker who has a great talent for psychically blowing up machines, and the Adeptus Mechanicus do not like him.
Well,
at all. To the point they actively say to him, stay away from the fucking armory. Because you'll blow it up.
Dude, just go away. You're blowing up our shit again. This isn't cool.
That was an interesting story. Finding out that the Silver Skulls, collect skulls. Ironic.
Dang.
Also, the fact that their librarians are also their chaplains, but they also have chaplains who are not librarians. It's very confusing.
Consistency is a funny thing in 40k.
But the non-psychic chaplains are literally pretty much confined to chapels. That's it. They don't do anything else.
That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. I'll give them that.
Yeah, I mean, I quite like the Silver Skulls ever since I read the Gildar Rift. It was weird coming across them because I'd never heard of them before, and then suddenly the word prognosticator comes. I'm like, prognosticator? That's a Grey Knight thing. What the hell? So yeah, that was an interesting thing to come across.
and also the fact that the Silver Skulls refuse to use their omophagia in except all the most dire circumstances.
Oh, which one's that?
The eating flesh to gain their memories organ.
That's the one.
Yeah, because that's perfectly reasonable.
They refuse to use that one because out of all the tribes on their homeworld, there's a cannibalistic tribe which everyone hates. So that's why they don't use it.
Totally fair.
Even to the point when Inquisitor said, "You should use your omophagia on this tainted Gaza," and they turned around and said to her, "Fuck off."
That takes quite the guts to tell an Inquisitor to F off.
It's like, "Oh, but you should get the sergeant I spoke to. I'm quite good friends with him, and he'll do it. Like his entire family, when he was a child, was slaughtered by one of those cannibalistic tribes. He'll probably kill you."
In all fairness, the Inquisition tend to die a lot.
Yep.
The Inquisition are kind of like, I'm trying to come up with a good analogy. They're sort of like the secondary antagonist in like everything that's not about them.
Oh, I just remembered. Sorry to interrupt. Another thing from that novel. There was a brother and sister. One was a psycho and the other was a blank.
How the fuck does that happen?
I don't know. That's some very messed up genetics.
Yeah, that must have been like how would you even manage to sit around the dinner table? Like, considering the effect that a blank has on a psycho.
Well, remember, recessive genes and everything like that, they could have, like, the psycho could have not have been a psycho while they were growing up.
But still.
And the blank was, of course, the sister.
Yeah, because I don't know what the percentage is of whether the percentage of female to male blanks, I don't know what that number is, but I know it must be higher considering it's Sister Silence versus Killex's Assassins.
And most Killex's Assassins in lore tend to be female.
Yeah.
So there's something about the pariah gene being more common in women.
I think it's because women have cooties.
I think that's GW saying women have no souls.
Oh.
Did you notice for a while on GW's site, all of the Sisters of Silence were redheads?
I can't say I did, no.
No, that is the thing.
Top knot things is quite common for a lot of armies.
Did they have freckles as well?
Probably. But I just find it really, really, really amusing.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, sort of a bit more chill question here. What is each of your favourite aspect warriors, both lore-wise and tabletop-wise? And of course, why?
Striking scorpions, because scorpions are cool.
In both cases? I mean, I know you don't do much tabletop, but...
Well, when I played back in 2nd edition, striking scorpions were pretty much just flat-out overpowered.
They were overpowered in 7th edition as well.
They got nerfed pretty hard in 3rd edition, because in 3rd edition it was Howling Banshees that were fucking overpowered, because this is when... In 2nd edition, Howling Banshees had las pistols and power swords and banshee masks, and then they changed them from 3rd edition onwards, so Eldar did not have las pistols. They changed to give them shuriken pistols.
Now, everyone at home will have heard that, but we didn't.
Yeah, I did not hear that at all.
Oh. What did I get up to?
Well, we got the gist of it from the end of it.
Yeah. So it's fine. For me, probably lore-wise would be warp spiders, and gameplay-wise, probably swooping hawks.
Let's see. Lore-wise, I don't know, I like the Path of the Exodite. I think that's probably my favorite.
That's not an aspect warrior.
It's technically not, but it is still a path, damn it.
Yes, but aspect warriors are not technically paths, just a path of the warrior. They're similar branches on that path.
But I would probably go with... I think Swooping Hawks are dumb. Howling Banshees are probably the coolest in the lore. But tabletop-wise, they're trashed here. They are not even worth taking. For tabletop, I gotta go with Dark Reapers. They're incredibly overpowered.
I still remember in 2nd edition when Swooping Hawks were armed only with las guns.
I mean, to be fair, they've mainly had more rifles than pistols and melee weapons. Always, they still do. But
a las gun, as in the same weapon of a guardsman, las gun.
welcome to second edition. We talked about this last time.
Though they did have the grenade packs, which were pretty useful because you could literally jump over someone and then drop the grenades on them as you jump.
Yeah, they changed that to be when they were landing, they would drop them. I think.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, when they come in, they drop a grenade near them.
Yeah, I mean, actually, is there any reason? Would it be fair to say that the Phoenix Lord of that aspect is a reason why you like them, or would because I mean I picked Warp Spiders, but they don't have a Phoenix Lord that we know of.
No.
I mean, my favorite Phoenix Lord is Fugan.
Oh, the Fire Dragon.
Yeah.
See, because he's a Fire Dragon, I like to call him Fuegan, like Fuego. Fuegan. Fire.
Fugan. I mean, Fugan is probably
Fugan.
correct, actually, but...
Fuegan like Fuego, fire. Fire Dragon, fire. Fuego, Fuegan.
Yeah, it's probably is that, but most people just anglicize it to Fugan.
But then again, I also pronounce Jagatai Khan as Yagatai Khan, just because I think it sounds more correct.
Yeah, I mean, the Y or J sound both work.
Fun enough, Karandras was the first Phoenix Lord model I ever had.
Nice.
I think the first Phoenix Lord that I've ever had was... let's see. I had the Howling Banshee one, I had the Dire Avenger one, and then I got Fugan at the end.
Who desperately needs a new model.
Alright, if we're going to talk about desperately needing new models, the Dark Angels haven't had models since '94. And no, I'm not going to go for the easy choice.
Belial came out long past then because he wasn't even around in '94.
Yeah, Belial got a model very, very recently, so did Asmodai.
Yeah, I know. Jerks. Anyway, next question.
Okay, what is the difference between opening a warp rift to quote-unquote FTL and flying straight into the Eye of Terror? I mean, if they both go to the same place, then, I mean, we know this, but why was the Cadian Gate so valuable if any ship with a warp drive can enter the warp anywhere, anytime?
Because the Cadian Gate was stable.
Correct. Basically, the Cadian Gate was the only region of space around the Eye that was both stable and large, because it could support the passage of entire battle fleets. That was its value. Not just its stability, its size was its value.
Oh, and I want to talk about something really quickly.
Go for
So
it.
I just listened to that audiobook about the assassin that killed Batman.
Shen.
Yep. And when they gathered their battle fleet, there was more of the Night Lords then than there was during the Heresy. And they make a casual remark to that.
What story was this?
If I had my phone on me, I could tell you because I have it on there, but I will send it to you afterwards.
If it's Throne of Lies, it's not more Night Lords than there were during the Heresy. It's the biggest congregation of the Night Lords since the Horus Heresy.
Yeah,
it was that.
Yeah, because they were all scattered by Sevatar after Kurz went missing.
But just think about that. They didn't deploy like 1 to 10 battle tanks like a normal company. They deployed thousands.
Well, yeah, because they believe that's where the recording of Kurz's murder was. So
they didn't know that it was Kurz's murder. They knew it had something to do with him.
No, they knew because they interrogated Jazara for like a week. Because that's what Talos did.
17 days.
Or 17 days, sorry.
Eesh.
But yeah,
and
that was after
they
cutting
cut her arms
and
and legs off. That poor girl.
Yeah, and then she lost her head.
Yep.
But in fairness, she spat in Talos' face.
Although it's heavily implied that she's the same assassin.
Yeah. She is. It was the same assassin. Which is really strange. It's really strange because in the Night Lord's novels, which are written by the same guy, she gets killed, and yet she's come back and she's still alive.
Well, that's my theory. Is that due to the psychotherapy and everything that all of them go through before and after every single mission, they're just given the memories and implants of the originals.
And
Kinda
we know
like
that
the
that is a
Sigmar.
canonical. That is actually a thing. Engrammatically enforced memories are a thing. It's sort of implied that that can happen. So it's not impossible.
Well, yeah, they do it with the Knight pilots sometimes. Well, the Knight themselves does it with them.
But the thing is, the story also raised up another issue because, like, Kurz was said to wait death and let Machine kill her, yet in this story, you see the recording, you see him clearly attack her. And it's like, so which is it? Did he wait for death or did he fight her?
I think
KGB!
No, I legit feel that it's both. He's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Like, the one side of him was waiting death. He's like, I committed wrong, I must die for it. This is my logic that I used on everybody else, so I am not above my own rules. Where the other part of him was all like, death to the false emperor, you're a bitch.
I'm getting Magnus the Red on Prospero flashbacks right now.
You know,
Yeah, well, he can stay on Prospero.
I'm surprised you said Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, not Batman and Robin.
Why would I say Batman and Robin? It would be Batman and the Joker, but yeah.
Is it Batman and Robin's funnier?
You're funnier.
I know.
Fair, if it is ADB, we just go poke him on Twitter until he tells us.
Yeah, he follows you, Alexis. Go on, ask him.
Oh,
Was.
yes. I'm scared. I'm shy.
Oh, come on. I asked Graham McNeil for clarification in regards to the Magnus Primarchs novel.
Yeah, and I gave Guy Haley a poke
remember
about
what
Devastation
he clearly said after that. Magnus is a bitch, and you should hate him. And I was all like, wow, I agree.
Hey, Magnus fought Satan and won. Literally.
Yeah, and look at these custodians still cleaning up all of that. Magnus did nothing wrong.
I never said he did nothing wrong. I just said he fought Satan and won.
Meh. Still an asshole.
I feel like you two are not going to agree on this.
I don't agree with that.
I will not agree with that.
So you will agree then. Okay,
No.
good.
No.
Okay, anyway, moving on.
This is why the Imperium attacks the Tau.
No, the Imperium attacked the Tower because the Tower decided to poke the bear that is the Imperium like an idiot.
It's more like this.
When I poke Zoran, I just say boop.
This is why the demon's locked in the room, surrounded by Psych Nguyen.
You're a dick.
Okay, next question. So, if Horus killed the Emperor for real, as in actually out and out and killed him, aboard
For
the
reals, not fake.
Yes, as in he wasn't able to get back to the Golden Throne, he was actually effing dead. Aboard the Vengeful Spirit, wouldn't that mean that shortly after, Terra and everything around it would be destroyed, seeing as Malkador died on the Golden Throne, consequently killing everybody?
Pretty much. Everyone gets fucked. Well, you might be alright for a day, at most. But
It depends how quickly the black ships can get Psychers to power the throne.
well,
Or whether Horus had a
considering
particular... Oh, actually no, it'd have been fine.
If Horus sat on...
well,
If either one of the two would have to sit on the throne. I mean, Horus would only last like a day or two on the throne by himself.
Horus wouldn't even last that long. I don't think.
And Magnus would be able to sustain it.
Yeah, it'd be a case of, like, it depends. If Horus can kill...
No, because don't remember at this point Magnus's soul is completely shattered. So that's going to be.
Armin's been rebuilding it though, but Armin had already got rebuilding it to try and keep Magnus stable. So yes, it wasn't the full Magnus, but
he wouldn't be able to fully rebuild him because don't forget who's got part of Magnus's soul, fucking Grey Knights. Exactly.
Yeah. Also, as late as the Armin series by John French, there's an Inquisitor who has a conversation with a good part of Magnus's soul, which calls itself. I think it's either the Crimson King or it calls the real Magnus the Crimson King. I forget which. So it would be interesting to see whether, like, if Horus killed the Emperor really, really, really quickly and landed to the point that Terra fell. The problem is they'd have to still break the siege on the palace to even get Magnus there or Horus there or anybody there fast enough before Malkador died and it all went to shit.
And bear in mind it took 1,000 Psychers to basically keep it going for one day.
Yeah.
So yeah, once Malkador's dead, you probably got a day at most.
Yeah.
No, wait. I hang on. I got another one. What if when Horus killed the Emperor, let's just say Horus killed him, but his wounds were too bad to sustain the siege and he died, because the Emperor did pretty much just one-shot him.
So they both die then. Okay.
All right. What if the Emperor just reconstituted himself and put himself on the Golden Throne?
That would rely on the Emperor being a perpetual. I mean, we know the shamans could do that.
All of us know that the Emperor has made physical copies of himself.
The problem is, in regards to this, what happens to those who died on the vengeful spirit? Their souls become trapped and crystallized upon it. If the Emperor died completely on the vengeful spirit, to the point his soul was released from its body, his soul would be trapped on the vengeful spirit.
Itself back into his original body. But that would be the only way you could do it.
But that means he would only be reincarnated
around it.
But he would only
because he's a god.
But he would only be reincarnated onto the vengeful spirit, not back onto the Golden Throne.
Yeah, so he'd have to reincarnate his soul into a body to get himself off the spirit with a soul in a body so that he could get back to Terra. Right? Wrong? Oh, confusing.
And now I've gone cross.
Unless he possessed or used part of his soul to connect to, not Abaddon, Horus, so that when Horus actually teleported aboard onto Terra.
I thought Horus was dead at this point.
Your scenario had Horus dead.
Yeah.
Basically, it's really fucking confusing. I'd be very glad that Horus didn't kill the Emperor.
But if Horus did kill the Emperor, the Imperium would be prosperous at this point, according to the Eldar.
But at the same time, Terra would be gone.
No, humanity would be extinct if Horus won, according to the Cabal.
Which included Eldari.
Yeah. But actually, there was only one...
Eldar help!
There was only two Eldari in the Cabal. That was Slaudar and Eldrad. And Eldrad was the one who said, no, this shit's not going to work. And then he had a psychic fight with Aslan.
Well, that's also because Eldrad got his shit kicked in by Fulgrim.
To be fair, I mean, for all you can shit down Eldrad, has he been wrong?
I actually like Eldrad as a character.
I mean, he's alright. I'm not a huge fan of Eldrad, but has he been wrong yet?
Yes.
Okay, fine. But, yeah, alright, I'm going to shut up now. But he's generally, he is right.
Some ritual failed. Him trying to convince Fulgrim failed.
There's a difference between failing and being wrong.
Him attempting to sacrifice multiple craft worlds failed.
There's
him
a difference
sacrificing
between
multiple
failing and being wrong.
Yeah, he was both wrong and a failure.
Well, he wasn't wrong because whilst his ritual didn't succeed, his belief in Iniad was right.
And it got the ball rolling.
Yes, quite possibly.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when he tried to stop chaos on his own. And sacrificed a craft world to do it. And then he was like, oopsie daisy, my bad. And then he got banished by the Eldar. And then
that was Terraria that made that happen. Never mind.
Well, no, then they retconned it and brought him back because that's the same story where Abaddon kills him.
So if it's been retconned, that means it doesn't count because it doesn't happen.
Yeah, but look at Abaddon for that matter. It's like he's been retconned so many times, and everybody's just like, "Oh, Abaddon sucks."
Oh yeah, like Eldrad can be disliked and hated all he wants, but generally he is right in what he does. Even if his methods are horrendous, he's generally right.
Yeah. Well, he was right about Fulgrim. I mean, I wish he actually got through to Fulgrim. I would love to see, like, I wish...
But the funny thing is, Fulgrim wasn't his first choice. His first choice was Manus.
Yeah, completely pied him off.
Yeah, and then he went to Fulgrim, and Fulgrim was already corrupted by the Lair Blade at this point, so he fucked off. Who was choice number 3? It was Vulcan.
It would actually be really funny if the writers from Black Library would just do a one-shot what-if story, kind of like how the Marvel Universe does. And it just shows Fulgrim actually believing him and discarding the Lair Blade.
I want to see them do a retro-style anthology. Like, done in the style of the 40k lore from, like, the late 80s and early 90s. Just for shits and giggles. That'd be so fun to read.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see if Black Library ever did decide, you know what, let's just put the canon to one side and let's say, well, what if?
Like, what if the Eldar invaded Terra while it was still in its golden age?
There's so many what ifs, but then we don't have a job. If they answer all the what ifs, we don't have a job.
No, like, what if scenarios are just they're non-canon quick stories about what could have happened?
Just do what they did for the Warhammer Monthly comic and just do a story where they swap the characters from, like, Age of Sigmar over with 40k and just swap them over in their roles. So you have, like, a vampire is now a Blood Angel Space Marine, for example. A dark elf is now a Drukari. That kind of thing.
There is no difference at all.
Blood Angels are vampires in some cases.
No, but you know what I mean? Like an actual vampire from the realm of death. Like, say, you get Manfred von Karstein becoming a Blood Angel.
Oh god, that would be hilarious.
As an example, or you get, like, I don't know, an Inquisitor becoming a Witch Hunter.
That would be kind of amusing.
Yeah, a Sister of Battle becoming a Sister of Sigmar. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
A Space Marine becoming a Stormcast Eternal. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of fun things they could do, but I doubt they will.
We still have this running joke in my shop of in earlier editions of the Dark Angels Codex, they talked about how some of the Fallen fell to chaos, some of the Fallen went into the Eye, some of the Fallen became renegades, and some of them just went on and took off their armor and became normal, like, as well as normal people ever. And the only thing I can think of is a Space Marine taking off his armor, standing in front of a guardsman naked, and just going, "I'm an Ogren." And the Space Marine's just like, "Yeah." No, the Imperial Guardsman was like, "Yeah, that checks out." He goes on his comm beat. "Commissar, we have a problem." Commissar comes over. He looks at the Commissar. "I'm an Ogren."
Yeah, but how does he explain? How does he explain all the black plugs throughout his body?
Doesn't matter. Do you want to tell him?
A Commissar will just try and shoot him.
Yeah, at that point, you're
shoots him in the head. The last pistol just hurts him.
Anything suspicious in the guard, the Commissar will shoot it. No matter how tiny the suspicion, they will shoot it because that's their job. I think literally the only exception will be Gaunt from Gaunt's Ghosts. That's literally the only exception I can imagine.
And each other.
Yeah.
I'm still finding that amusing. Just the Commissar looking at him. "You sure are."
Well, don't forget, custodians retire.
And so do Sisters of Silence. They get married.
Can you imagine marrying a blank? It must be incredibly uncomfortable, considering how much physical pain they cause normal people.
Well, it's more of discomfort if the blanket themselves is concentrating.
Did you just say blanket?
No, blank themselves.
You said blanket, I swear.
You said blanket. But
I did not mean to.
But anyway.
Damn you, blankets!
So, next question. This is one of the... Alright. Is it possible to free Isha from the Garden of Nurgle?
Didn't I do a video on this?
Could Iniad... I'll finish the question. Could Iniad find out about Isha and decide to go take her from Nurgle with Slanesh yelling from the sidelines, "How did it feel, you bloated fuck?"
It is possible.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt it's possible.
Even though I don't think the Inari realised that Isha is there, considering they were in the Garden of Nurgle and didn't know anything about it, so...
Though Eldari have gone hunting to get Isha out of there before.
And failed.
But they do know it, so at least some know Isha's there.
Yeah, but they've also gone into Slanesh's realm.
That too.
And got pissed off at birds. Of all the things to get pissed off by.
Yes, but weren't these birds that were speaking with human voices and stuff like that?
They were birds that were whispering deceits into their ears.
So, yes.
And then the cat killed them. And then they were all like, "Oh, demons." And then they all started killing them after killing half of each other.
Yes, but they also ended up killing each other after coming across a demon of Cain. Not an avatar of Cain, a demon of Cain.
Yep.
That was on the world with the tomb of Eldanesh, for anyone wondering. Because Eldanesh was real.
Yeah, I think we discussed this before.
And he had a crystal heart that someone shoved inside his chest. Like, I have a crystal heart now. I can help.
Oh,
just imagine an Eldar with the voice of Ralph Wiggum now.
God damn it.
I'm not doing an impression.
Yeah, no, I'm good without the impression.
My voice can't go that high.
Anyway.
Next question.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the moment. Which legion do you think had its image most improved by the Heresy novels, and which has been most either neglected or damaged in terms of image by the Heresy novels? So who's been made to look good, and who's been made to look worse than people used to think they were?
I think the World Eaters had their image improved somewhat.
Oh yeah, the World Eaters certainly. If you're a 40k fan who goes back and reads the Heresy, like the World Eaters become a lot more likable
and a lot more sympathetic as well.
And you guys are gonna get mad at me because my selection is the Dark Angels.
Yes, they turned to shit because their novels are so boring.
I think they're so cool because of it.
Their novels are just so boring to read, though.
I love them, though.
That says more about your taste, though.
I mean, I've gone back and studied all of the legions from that time and you can look at them in a vacuum, and like some of the legions that come out looking the best from just what you learn of them in the Heresy are legions like I think the Salamanders, despite getting absolutely fucked over, their resilience to not give up makes them look good, even if they get screwed over. The Iron Hands, in some ways, come out looking worse, because despite Ferrus Manus being a plot device, and more like plot hole,
they turned into cowards.
Yeah, the Iron Hands don't come over as well. The Ultramarines are probably one of the most interesting cases, because the Ultramarines of today, putting aside all the Matt Ward nonsense, are the poster boys. They're the ultimate good guys, and they're the paragon of the Astartes, even before you apply Matt Ward.
And they're just so different in Horus Heresy novels.
Yeah, like, they come across as like super straight edged and undeviating from their protocols. And as much as 30k Gilliman's not a bad character, the Ultramarines come out looking probably worse than their 40k counterparts because of their inflexibility.
Apart from Theo. Theo's awesome.
Oh yeah, Theo's awesome. The exception that proves the rule. Probably, I don't know about the Sons of Horus, because the Black, like, what you think of the Black Legion is up to you, but like, the Lunar Wolves, great. The Sons of Horus, not so much, in my opinion.
And I think we can all agree that Corferon is a cunt.
Jesus Christ.
Prove me wrong. Quite.
Yeah, I mean, the word bearers, like, it's interesting, like, particularly the ones that are interesting to see who looks better and who looks worse, are the traitor legions, because obviously the traitor legions of today are so different to the traitor legions of back then, with a possible couple of exceptions. The Thousand Sons being the obvious example, because it's obviously rubric versus no rubric, and Plague Marines versus no Plague Marines with the Death Guard. It is really quite a fascinating look into what could have been if you go back and look at the old legions.
Mm. And then you got the Space Wolves, who haven't fucking changed at all.
No, they really haven't.
But I still like the fact that the Burning of Prospero had 2 books dedicated to each perspective.
Yeah, because quite frankly, if you told that book from either person's perspective, or just that story from one perspective, you'd do the entire thing a massive injustice.
Mm.
Because it is... I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think that is possibly the most divisive battle in 40k's and 30k's literary history.
Well, yeah, because it's literally the spawning ground for the whole Magnus did nothing wrong, Magnus did everything wrong. That you see all the time on message boards and on Facebook and all that.
Yeah, but even before you get to Magnus did nothing wrong, the battle itself, like how it goes, if you follow it from a Thousand Sons perspective, they were holding, except where Russ was, and then a Warlord Titan exploded and then it all went to shit. if you tell it from the Wolves' perspective, more than likely they'll see it completely the opposite way. And honestly, if Magnus had been around to like press an advantage where Ross wasn't, I think the Thousand Sons could have won. It was that close for a while. It was that close.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest, the only reason why the Space Wolves did as well as they did was not only because of Russ, but also because of Sisters of Silence and Custodians.
Yeah, like, basically the way it worked, if you go back and read Book 7 of the Heresy gaming series, is basically everywhere that Leman Russ, who had all the Custodians and and Sisters of Silence on him, because they deemed that to be the best stratagem, everywhere else, the Thousand Sons were kicking ass. Like, sure, they were having to reach for some really dark magic, and that caused the literal reality to fall apart over Tizca in some cases, but until they brought that Warlord Titan online and then it subsequently exploded, yeah.
I just find it funny that on the artwork for Prospero Burns, you got the Space Wolf with a fucking wooden shield. What's that going to do?
In all fairness, rule of cool.
Yes, against, space wizards with, 1.0 caliber grenade launchers. A wooden shield is going to do a lot, isn't it?
Well, we could go into the debate about why they even need Space Marines to begin with when their ships can just bombard and crack planets from space.
Because you actually want to take the world afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay, ignite the atmosphere and then remake an atmosphere. They've done it before.
Too many resources, too much time.
Too expensive.
How is it too many resources? It's literally 2 things dropped on the planet.
It's expensive.
And then do you realize how much it takes to rebuild an atmosphere?
Apparently only 1 bomb. I'm also not kidding.
Considering it takes the Eldari literally thousands of years to terraform a planet from lifelessness with no atmosphere to have an atmosphere and a full ecosystem, I doubt the Imperium can be able to do it in just 1 bomb drop.
Somehow.
I sincerely doubt that the Imperium are outclassing the Eldari in this.
I know it sounds stupid, but...
It does sound stupid. It sounds incredibly stupid. It sounds almost as stupid as an Ian Watson novel.
Ouch!
Not quite as stupid as... Not as stupid as a Goto novel, but still.
Ouch. Also, when you consider the whole resources and time thing, like, the Imperium doesn't have the resources to put a force together to stop one Necron dynasty that's half ruined half a subsector. Like, they committed 2 million guardsmen and chapter upon chapter of Astartes to the defense of a system, won, and decided, right, we need 30 years of a crusade to take this subsector back, give or take. That's too much resources to exterminate the whole thing.
Yep.
The Imperialist perspective on resources is all manner of fucked.
Yep. Just like the Imperium itself, it's fucked.
Yeah.
As Gathorpe said, it doesn't work. That's the point.
Well, it works in that it doesn't fall over and die, but that's about it.
It's basically become a petrified fucking forest.
Symbolism much?
Quite.
Right, where was I?
All I'm saying is why make Space Marines when... I'm not getting into that argument again, although I do find it funny. Why make Space Marines when Sisters of Battle are made easier, have almost equal war gear, and have the same weapons to kill them?
When were the Sisters of Battle invented?
Exactly. Well, the Brides of the Emperor.
Yes, 6,000 years after the Astartes.
Anyway, the answer's simple. Space Marines have cool additional organs for shit.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter to a melt-a-gun.
They can breathe water. They can breathe toxic gas.
You just put a helmet on a Sister of Battle, they could do the same thing.
And then they get a breach in their armor and they're fucked.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's an argument you can't win. I'm sorry.
No, it takes what? dozens of resources plus hundreds of hours of implantation to make one Astartes who might just reject all of the organs and be completely useless. Or you just grab a girl off the street and turn her into a sister.
But if you manage to make the Space Marine, he's about a match for about at least 50 other soldiers.
Okay, one Meltagun, he's dead.
Not necessarily. It has to be a really good shot to the head. That's about it.
No, just one Meltagun running across his armor will destroy his armor and kill him instantly.
Not from what I've read.
I feel like we're in an agree to disagree situation, so I'm just going to move on and do another question, if that's all right with you.
All I'm saying is one Dominion squad versus a tactical squad. The Dominion squad has a better chance.
And the Space Marine has
mostly because there's a shit ton of them.
And a Space Marine can probably get a few more kill shots off before he goes down. Faster reflexes.
Faster reflexes, better targeting, but they both have assistance of targeting through their system's machine spirits. The bolter is a bit bigger and more stable for the Space Marines. Its machine spirit is comparable to only a Space Marine and rejects all forms of other users due to pride. But Imperials can actually use the Space Marine. Use the Space Marine bolter. It just counts as using an additional weapon. Dark Heresy. The calibers of the weapons are the exact same. The heavy bolters and the Deus.
The caliber and power of the weapons may be the same, but a Space Marine has the faster reflexes to get several shots up before the sisters can even react.
But killing one Space Marine is the equivalent of killing 10 sisters. 10 sisters can accomplish more than one Space Marine. The cost of resources don't favor the Astartes. The cost of resources actually favor the Guard over everything else.
Now,
who are given crappy flak armor and las guns.
Now,
yes,
the catch with the sisters is you can't just grab a girl off the street.
Actually, they quite literally do grab.
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
They take them from the what's it called?
They take orphans off the street and train them to be sisters.
From the Skull of Progenium.
Yeah, they
orphans of
literally
high-ranking Imperial officials only.
Yeah, they take orphans and make them into sisters of battle. It's literally a 10-year process.
I can't say I agree, but I'm going to move on. Right.
Also, the Replacer's a better tank. Easier to make.
Are we done?
Nope. Continue.
Right. For everybody, any idea why the 4 major demon primarchs, i.e. the big 4, are all depicted or modelled, in the case of the last of Madness and Mortarion, as having wings? Is there some sort of rank benefit, or is it just a curious coincidence? Is it for logical, tactical reasons, or what?
Rule of cool.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah,
okay,
I think literally the only Demon Prince we know of who definitely doesn't have wings is Lorgar.
I believe so, yeah. I mean, have we actually seen I know we've seen a bit of Demon Lorgar in our, but have we seen, like, a full, like...
Yes, yeah, we have, yeah.
Okay,
it was for the 40K Conquest trading card thing. There was actually a full picture of Demon Lorgar.
Right, okay. I hadn't seen the full artwork. I think I've seen part of that artwork, but not the full artwork.
Yeah, the only demon prop we don't know what he looks like at all is Perturabo.
And I can't see him having wings.
I just imagine him looking like a giant obliterator.
Yeah, that's what I've always gone with. I can't see him having wings. If anyone was going to not have it, it would be him.
That's such a tactical weakness on the tabletop, though.
Which is why he's probably got a shit ton of flat cannons to counteract flyers.
Yeah, more guns, better armor, the works. Okay, I'm not saying this because I'm a Tau person before anybody has a go at me.
Are you a Tau person?
Get in the bed. Do you guys feel like the...
Wait, did he just say get in the bed?
Ben, for fuck's sake, Alexis.
Alright, apparently you want roleplays at the bed. Continue.
Do you guys feel like the fan base in general are too harsh on the Tau being the most quote-unquote noble bright race in 40k? I love the grey areas, the open-ended suggestions of mind control, the ethereals may know so much more than they put on. Do you feel like to appease the biggest complaint about the Tau lore-wise, it's just going to make the Tau lose their most appealing aspects as a stark contrast to how the Imperium operates?
To an extent, I would agree with that.
I actually really like the Tau.
Yeah, they do get a lot of shit, and I think a lot of that is due to the fact that they were so overpowered last 2 editions.
In all fairness, they don't get as much shit as the Imperial Fist, let's be honest.
I've never seen the Imperial Fist get any shit. Apart from
Oh my god.
Apart from Iron Warriors players.
Yeah, apart from painting them, I've never seen them get shit.
I've seen them get shit, and I think it's funny.
Again, I've only ever seen them get shit from Iron Warriors players.
Because salt.
Yes.
Yeah, the Tau do get probably a disproportionate amount of shit for what they are. Because, you can't have them be, super grimdark, because at that point they're just generic, shooty aliens. They've got to have something that makes them stand out, and the greater good and their sort of forward-looking ethos. I mean, we don't know what they're going to be looking like in the new edition. We haven't got the Codex yet. But it does set them apart, for good or for ill.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, initially I was very indifferent towards the Tau, but then I read the Farsight Crisis of Faith book, and I thought that was so well written, I actually became kind of interested in the Tau.
Basically, if you want to make Tau good and likable, just read about Farsight.
Yeah, Farsight's actually...
I just wish they would unsheath their bonding knives.
It's ceremonial.
It's still a knife!
Yeah, but they've also got those spoon things that they use in combat, what the Ethereals do.
It's a knife in a
What are those
sheath.
double-ended spoons that they use?
Honor staves, honor blades, and then I think they're just called ethereal staffs. I can't remember what they're actually called.
Because the model has got two, one in each hand, these little tiny double-handed spoons.
Oh, they're equalizers.
Ah, okay.
Equalizers, that's the word.
I can eat equal amounts of ice cream in each hand. No? Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Also, I know so many people are going to give me shit for bringing up cost of resources of Space Marines.
Yeah.
The Space Marine could actually beat everybody in a fight, except for the Imperial Navy.
Okay, what openly chaotic group or subgroup would you say is the least malevolent or even benevolent?
Where?
Chaos subgroup? Well, that means... Well, do they mean Legion or...
Oh, it just says chaotic... Well, it says chaotic group or subgroup, so I'm assuming, faction, Legion, society... I don't know, it's kind of vague.
From what I've read in Sons of the Hydra, it'll be the Alpha Legion, because they still honor the Emperor and say, the reason we're fighting against the Imperium is to get rid of all its weakness. It's like, okay, that's technically not evil. Trying to get rid of the weakness, trying to make the Imperium stronger, okay. Yeah.
I'll point you to the 1940s and tell you why that's wrong, but... yeah.
Kind of curious as to why. I was expecting an explanation.
Was the Second World
No,
War?
I know. I just wanted you to say it.
I don't. Someone tried to get into a comment, tried to bait me into saying something in a comment, and I completely saw right through. I'm generally quite good at not falling into that.
I mean, let's go this way. Compared to, the word bearers saying, you must worship chaos or you die, or Night Lords going, give us all your shit or you die, or Iron Warriors saying, give us your planet or you die. And then the Alpha Legion's we're making the Imperium better.
Yeah, it's...
Or die.
Yeah, it's less evil than some, but it is still evil.
Like all Chaos groups.
Fair. Okay, let's see if I can find a good one, because how are we doing for time? I haven't got a time on me.
We're about an hour and 40 minutes in.
Okay, let's see if I can find a really good one to finish on. I might have accidentally just found all the good ones. You guys talk amongst yourselves for a minute.
I'm still telling you, cost of resources wise, Sisters of Battle are superior to Space Marines. Because if an Imperial Navy ship kills a Space Marine battle barge, you lose thousands upon thousands upon thousands of hours of resources versus killing a Sister of Battle barge. Not
Okay,
a battle
I've got
barge,
one
they
I can
fly
stop.
around on Imperial Navy ships. At least that's what I believe they fly on. That seems like the most logical thing that they would fly through space with. Not the Inquisitorial ships, but yes. Imperial Navy ships.
Yes, but technically aren't Space Marine battle barges generally of a higher quality?
They're classed as a battleship, I believe. So they're in the upper class. But generally, the chapter only has...
I kind of know about Battlefleet Gothic a lot. It's kind of one of my favorite games. And I've read up on all the lore on it. They're split up into several different sects. They do have light battle cruisers, heavy battle cruisers, battleships, and the biggest ships in the Imperium. But as I've shown, Imperial Navy ships are far more outmaneuverable, have better long-range capabilities, and are faster.
I thought the entire purpose...
But the thing is, according to the video game's logic, Imperial ships are better at ramming...
This is Battlefleet Gothic's lore.
Let me finish. According to the game's logic, Imperial ships are better at ramming than Orc ships which are designed to ram shit.
In all fairness, that's just the way I play it. If you go by the numbers, the Orc ships are far better.
And regardless, we are not talking about their ships. We are talking about comparing a Sister of Battle to Astartes.
No, we're talking about comparing the armies and the resources that they bring.
Bear in mind that the authority a Space Marine Chapter Master has is pretty damn high. If he wanted to just seize a Navy fleet, I mean, I know the Inquisition would flip a table, but he could do it.
Yep.
He could, unless the Navy officer refuses him, which has happened before, and that's how infighting starts.
And at that point, you're putting humans against Astartes, and at that point, the humans lose. Yes.
Going by actual naval combat, the Imperial Navy would win almost every single time. Actually, Chaos fleets are far more deadly than
But the thing is, though, how are the Navy going to react when, oh shit, we've got a shit ton of Space Marines boarding our ship?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Long-range auger scans are better on Imperial Navy ships than they are on Space Marine vessels. They'll see the Space Marines coming long before they'll actually get there, and they'll simply do hit-and-run tactics against them.
Also, bear in mind that go back to the Codex when it was first written, and what happened to Astartes fleets. Astartes fleets were ripped of pretty much every single capital ship killer that they had. They were almost, like, some people wanted to take their fleets off them entirely. The compromise that was reached was that the Space Marine vessels are geared, first and foremost, toward landing, toward invasion, boarding, and they're not designed for protracted fleet combat in the same way that the Imperial Navy is. That was deliberate so that the Space Marines would lose in a protracted naval engagement against the Imperial Navy were they to turn. That's the point. So it's not that the Space Marine ships, if you take the Legiones Astartes fleets, they were on the par with the Imperialis Armada and would wipe the floor with them because they had the same resources. They had the Glorianas, and also in some cases even better because they had the Phalanx and the Rock. Well, not the Rock, but...
Except the Phalanx and the Rock weren't part of the fleets themselves. They were just separate entities.
The Rock didn't exist, but yes, fair point.
And the Phalanx was part of the Imperial Fist Legion fleet.
That's it.
Yes, but it didn't move.
Yes, it did.
No, it was... Once it was set, it stayed usually in Terran's orbit.
It moves.
After that...
It was seen as patrolling the Sol system.
But it's not very... I can tell you from lore perspectives that those ships aren't that good. They're really good at killing one-on-one ships, but long-range engagements kill them.
That's, like I say, that was the point. That's what the Space Marine... That's why the Space Marine ships are set up the way they are.
Phalanx predates the Imperium.
Yes, and is better in every way as a result.
They also don't have machine spirits. Keep that in mind.
Fair.
They are AI.
They wouldn't be AI because AI is outlawed.
No, they predate the Imperium. They are AI, and most of them were corrupted and destroyed.
If it was predated the Imperium and was AI, and they found it still had an AI, then at that point the Emperor said, it's got an AI, fucking get rid of it.
Yeah, and to be fair, most of the phalanx doesn't
resource
work.
Is too valuable.
Yeah, is it also the case that most of the phalanx doesn't work? Like, they can't physically man it because they're at chapter strength now, not legion strength.
That too. Also, it took heavy damage.
Yes, it did. But yeah, this the whole point is that the reason that the Imperial Navy has to be able to beat an individual Astartes fleet, the reason that a force of, as you say, Sister Battle needs to be able to hold its own against a force of Astartes is to exactly prevent another heresy scenario where a giant Space Marine army can turn and run roughshod like Horus's forces did. It's designed that way. So
I also think that if you go by what was it when the brides attacked the Imperium? When they tried to seize, Age of Apostasy. Their fleet was just simply too big. They had too many resources. Now they split them up into 6 individuals, 6 individual orders, which each have 10,000 girls under it. And then each of those split up into even more orders, which then have 10,000 under it. They outnumber the Space Marines almost 10-1.
And as we said earlier, a Space Marine is probably at least worth 10 Battle Sisters.
The best part about this
Hang on. When the brides marched upon the Imperial Palace, how many Space Marines were there actually involved?
Not many, because they sat on the sidelines because they didn't know who to follow.
So that
I think the only ones that were actually directly involved were the Imperial Fists.
We had the Praetorians of Terror.
But that's mostly due to it being a political matter and not an actual physical fight. Though there were a lot of fights during it.
And then the Custodes got involved.
The Custodes ended it.
Yeah.
But the Sisters of Battle pose one of the biggest threats to chaos. Because, yes, the Lances can deal with the Space Marine battle vessels, which is what they're geared to kill. But the Imperial Navy is extremely good against Chaos fleets. It's
designed that way.
No, it isn't. The Chaos fleets were designed after all of this. But I digress about that.
After events. But yes, go on.
One of the things is, with Battlefleet Gothic, and the reason that I love the game so much is it's a game of rock, paper, scissors, who you go up against. The Orks are the wild card, and the Necrons are overpowered, which is why I'm scared about them in the newest game, especially being that they're sticking to the board game, and they stick to it extremely well. Although I can't wait to pilot a Space Hulk. Those are going to be fun. Oh yeah, Chaos have actual Space Hulks that they fly around in.
You were saying?
Yeah, which are terrifying.
Yeah, that's been.
Anyway, that's my rant. All I'm saying is Sisters of Battle are a real force to be reckoned with.
And most of the time we spent talking about the Imperial Navy, not the Sisters of Battle.
Yeah, the Imperial Navy, in a space battle, the Imperial Navy wins. It always does. It's designed to do that because they neutered the Space Marines so that they couldn't beat it. That's the point.
Until Guilliman reestablishes the legions, which I feel that he's going to be doing.
He will expand the chapters, but I don't think we're going to see legions.
Well, I mean, he knows about what the Dark Angels do and how they all still report to Azrael, and yet he gave them 1/3 of the Imperium.
I thought he gave that to the Blood Angels.
He gave it to the Blood Angels and the Dark Angels.
Dante's the Warden of Imperium Nihilus. It's pretty much flat out stated. I'm sure Azrael has some authority in there, but Dante's the Warden. He's in charge.
Yeah.
Even though half his legion is dead.
No, it isn't. It's been completely rebuilt with Primarchs. That happened at the end of Devastation of Isle as well.
I know. It's so silly. I love that story, though, because 11 chapter masters died.
Didn't mention that.
They mentioned it in the codexes.
Wait,
I've even talked to representatives about this, too, which is really cool.
Right. Anyway, the last question I was looking for, because I've still got time. Excuse me. If I'm not mistaken, Cain attempted to kill all the Eldar because of a prophecy stating that an Eldar would kill him. Obviously referencing how Eldar hedonism created Slaanesh, which in turn shattered Cain, diddly. But if his plan wasn't stopped by Asian and Cain kept killing Eldar, wouldn't the last Eldar he killed ultimately kill him, as the other Eldar gods' existence can only be maintained by belief in them by the Eldar? Now, obviously, it's just another way of looking at the prophecy, is ultimately it's the same result. But what I'm wondering is, was Cain not aware of how the warp works and the fact that he could only exist if Eldari believe in him? Did that make any sense whatsoever?
So I think you cut out. Can you say that again?
How much did you get?
When you first mentioned Cain, but that's all I got.
Right. So, basically, Cain attempted to kill the Eldar because of a prophecy stating that the Eldar would kill him in reference to Slaanesh, correct?
Right.
But if his plan wasn't stopped, and he kept going and going and going, and he eventually wiped the Eldar out, would that not have ultimately wiped out the Eldar gods because no one believed in them anymore? Therefore, Cain doesn't know how the warp works.
Well, the Eldari and they share the same pantheon with the Hrud. So if all the Eldari died, then the Hrud would still believe in them.
Plus, if you take
don't the Eldar gods not work on belief?
It depends. If they're warp entities, then they kind of have to work that way, don't they?
Yeah.
But are they warp entities?
Yes.
Well, what else could they be?
Well, considering the fact that, avatars of Cain are pretty much classified as demons.
So is the Incarnate.
Yep. Chagorak is a warp entity. He exists. Isha is a warp entity that lives in the Garden of Nurgle.
Yeah, it's just interesting because also that logic, if Cain wiped all the Eldari out, wouldn't that also, I don't know, would that not create Iniad by accident?
Yeah.
Because although I'm not
Potentially,
sure if it, because although I thought, well, I don't know, Iniad is sort of seen as sort of the counter to Slaanesh, but if Cain kills the Eldar before Slaanesh happens, then what's Iniad there to do?
Actually, if he killed all the Eldari, then wouldn't they just have their souls dissolve back into the warp and then reincarnate?
Or just go into the gods if that's how it works. Or, because Iniad is being formed supposedly in the Infinity Circuits, there's no way for Iniad to form. Unless those souls go and form Iniad in the warp instead, I don't know.
They would have to form him in the warp, considering the fact that if Slaanesh isn't there to eat all the souls, then Iniad would form in the warp.
That's a fun theory.
Yeah. But they would still exist just because of the fact that the Hrud still believe in the same gods, so...
Yeah, and then I get the feeling that Iniad/Asian would probably look at Cain and said, bro, the fuck was that all about?
I thought Iniad would be more like, are you my daddy?
Well... that's a thing.
Yeah, that's the questions.
Huh. Was not expecting that as the ending.
No, I'm really hoping someone's got something to say now, because, yeah, that's, yeah.
Well, should we give everyone the news for next time, then?
Yes. I'll let you do that, since you're hosting.
Okay, so... The next
what's hosting?
He's hosting the next one.
Oh, right. Sorry, I got confused.
No, I wasn't clear, my bad.
Right, so for the next edition of the podcast, we are hopefully having on another member of the Black Library team. This time it should be Josh Reynolds, providing that something doesn't come into conflict with the schedule. But yes, so if you want to add any questions below for Josh Reynolds, feel free and we'll ask him as long as they're not too memery.
Yeah, because you asked us after the Gav episode if we ever get Black Library on again to let you know in advance. So here we are, all going well, letting you know in advance.
Yeah.
Woo!
And considering he just had a book come out in the form of the Lucius the Trickster novel, if you've got any questions about that novel, might as well ask him below.
Plus also Clone Lord and things.
Yes, all the things.
I get to talk to him about Baby Fulgrim.
Oh no.
But my little Frogor.
Oh,
sorry.
no.
I'm done.
Your little Fulgrim is now in Trajan's pocket.
I'm okay with that.
Not in that way.
What way was that? I was
For
talking
God's
about.
sake, stop it and end the episode before he says something stupid.
I was thinking of like an immortal Fulgrim just locked in a stasis field.
Is that what you
That
call
would
it
be
these
two
days?
Primarchs. What are you even talking about?
What do you mean it'll be 2 Primarchs? Considering the fact when Trajan got Fulgrim, it's like, oh, I've never had one of these before. This will be my first.
Yeah, second Primarch, according to rumors.
It's...
He's flat out stated that it's his first. How can it be his second?
Maybe it's his first cloned Primarch.
Trajan's not an idiot. I
don't know.
I think he knows what a Primarch is when he gets his hands on one.
Anyway, are we good? I think we're good.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Adeptus Podcastus. I want to thank Remlays and I want to thank Tactica Imperialis for showing up and having fun and debating about things that the comment section is just going to scream at me about.
To be fair, most of that is Remlays.
What?
Hey.
Oh, I was talking about what I said about the sisters, but yeah.
You've dug yourself into a hole with the comments for that. Remlays has dug himself into a hole with the comments with all the bullshit and nonsense and innuendo he's been spewing all episode.
Hey, someone's got to do it.
In
No,
all
we
fairness,
don't.
just slowly being corrupted by Malau.
Malice.
Whatever. I don't know your
Malice.
fictional deities.
He's better than Nuffle, who exists in Warhammer Fantasy exclusively. The god
God
of...
of Blood Bowl.
See? Someone knows.
Anyway,
I imagine him looking like one of those little pig things from Dragon Age Origins.
I thought it was a goblin.
Could be both.
you're both goblins.
And on that
You're-
bombshell,
You're a Noblar.
At least I'm not Licks the Knob. Best name for an orc. Oh wait, no, there's a better name for an orc, and soon you'll see this on Remlays' channel.
please
What?
stop.
Worried about it, Remlays.
What the fuck are you on about?
A lot.
She's probably going to meme you in the next episode.
No.
It's like when you got all your friends to put hashtag send nids, and then you
Yeah.
denied it, even though we all knew it was you, because you got them to do the same thing to Michael.
In all fairness, I got drunk and did that.
That's no excuse.
Yes, it still happened and it bombed my live stream chats for weeks.
In all fairness, I did that to several other channels too.
Beside the point.
I don't know. I think it makes sense, you know? You guys are not special. You're special to me, though. And on that, thank you guys for joining us for this episode. It's been crazy. I'm Alexis the Egoqueen.
This is Tactica Imperialis.
This is Remlays from 40K Theories.
Take care, everyone.